Hello, my friends. Welcome to the Zenpreneur podcast. This is your host, Mario Lanzarotti, the Zenpreneur. And today I have a dear friend of mine, George Alexander. He's a German expert and one of the top professional speakers and trainers on the subject of characterology, personality, and ego worldwide today. He has dedicated his life to helping people find their strengths and talents and to become more successful in their personal and business lives. George has given seminars, talks, and done consulting from 2003 in over 16 countries all over the world. Also, he's helped people worldwide to become cancer-free because he was able to heal himself of the disease. I'm very excited for this conversation. George, welcome to the show.
Hello, hi Mario. Thanks for being here.
I'm excited. There's a lot of really powerful conversations that you and I had personally outside of the podcast. And today I finally get to bring you on the show. And I want to start by asking you, what is characterology?
Characterology is the science about our temperament, personality, and character. And Hippocrates, of course, he discovered this and invented this 2,500 years ago. And you can see he's my role model. And he figured out, based on disease, specific kind of personalities have always a specific kind of disease. So he figured out there is a reason when people get sick is have something to do with their personality. That is characterology. That is one part. Characterology is more than about how we looks like. You can identify personalities, how they looks like from the body, then the culture and all this kind of stuff. But I use most characterology based on the personality type, what is in our subconsciousness.
Okay, there's a lot of questions that I have. And before I dive into those questions, I want to understand, how did you get to characterology? Because I know your story is a bit different, and I would love for you to speak a little about sort of what you went through. Because I know you're from Germany, but now you live in the States, and you have a unique background, especially to where you are today.
Yeah, so I was a financial advisor, and I working only for money, and then what counts more money. So, and in the long term, it makes me sick. I got cancer, and I had lymphoma in final stage. I have 6 weeks to live when I was in the hospital, and I decided to change my life. And at this time, based on my personality, and I didn't know, I need more fun in my life based on my personality. At this time, I didn't know. But I decided in the hospital, I never work for money again. I work only for fun with fun. Interesting, in this moment, healing starts. I didn't know this. And I quit the hospital because it feels not right. I learned everything about cancer, and I healed myself. And after 12 weeks, I was cancer free. And then I started to learn everything about cancer and help a lot of people worldwide to become cancer free. This was one part. And then a friend invited me to a seminar from Hippocrates Success Management in Germany. And he said, "Oh, that's very interesting. You have to see this." I said, "Okay." And I was shocked because I saw what personality type I am. And I was very good with my clients, really bad with my employees. I was a kind of tyrant, narcissistic personality type a little bit. And I was really shocked. And I have fights with my dad over years, all the time. We have always fights. And at this basic seminar, I realized why it is based on our different personality types. So I changed my behavior to him, what he need, and magic happens. We have no more fights. And I was so shocked. How is this possible? 30, 40 years fights are gone after one day seminar. This was the part when I decided, wow, I want to become a characterologist. I want to teach people how they can change their lives so fast on a high level. And so I become a characterologist. I work in 16 countries, And my dream was always to living in the States in the Wild West. And I want to bring the company here. And after long negotiation, I bought the company. So now it's my company here in United States. So that's a
Very
little bit
interesting.
in
So
a
I
nutshell.
want to dive into that a little bit more there. Talk to me about this experience that you had with cancer, right? The way that you talk about it, cancer is obviously one of the most debilitating diseases that we see in the world today, with hundreds of millions of people dying. And from what it sounded like, you got the diagnosis from your doctor telling you that you only have 6 weeks to live, which is horrible. And then you discover characterology and you learn to heal yourself. So explain to us a little bit more what that looked like.
Okay, so number one, I didn't know anything about cancer, and I was surprised I have cancer. Um, it comes not overnight. I think I feel this for more than 2 years. Something is not 100% okay with me. It feels like sometimes you have a flu, you have back pain, something is not really right. Then you are very tired. But I didn't expect I have cancer. It happening, my whole system break down. I have fever, very high fever, and I come in the hospital. They check me up in the morning, and in the evening they told me, "Oh, you have cancer." And I said, "What? It's starting? No, it's ending." You have 6 weeks. You're dying. Your body is not more working. Your organs stop working. I had two half gallon of water, 2 liter water in my lungs, water in my heart bag, and the organs stopped working. So, but I was not be afraid to die because I had a near-death experience when I was 14 years young. A car hit me on a bicycle with 80 kilometers per hour, 60 miles, boom. And I was out of my body. That was my best experience in my whole life. It was fun. And I saw my body, and this was completely not important. And I got a lot of teachings about life and death during this time. It feels to me it was like 12 hours, but it was only a few seconds. And I flew 8 meters, 8 yards, hit the ditch in the side. The car stopped. I get up and asked the car driver, "Hey, are you nuts? Why you hit me?" And then I passed out. And I wake up in an ambulance, but I have not one broken bone. And this make no sense because the car hit me like this. My whole area have to be damaged. But when I was in a different state, today I know all this, what is behind this. I had the chance to make the next level up, or I'm coming back. I decided to coming back. I'm not done here. And I have not one broken bone, what is not possible, but my whole left side is weaker today than my right side. So when I decided to come back, I make something not 100% correct, but you can see here, my left arm is smaller than my
Yes.
right arm. So,
Oh,
but
wow.
so whatever I did, I was a little bit too superficial when I'm coming back. So, but I was not be afraid to die. Was more a release. When they told me I'm dying, I said, "Oh, finally." But then I decided I'm too young for this. And I starting to learn everything about cancer in the hospital. And I started this main book as an audio book because I was so under drugs I cannot read. This was my main part as an audio book. And something changed again in my attitude. And I decided, no, I go out, not because of fear. It was, I want to do this. No, I go out and I heal myself. And the doctors, they was mad with me because the chemotherapy was expensive. They make tons of money. So they're losing a good client, a good customer. And they told me, "Oh, when you go, don't go in the sun, don't drink alcohol." I called my best friend. We go to Denmark. I have beach party. When I'm dying, then with all the sexy girls on the beach and not somewhere in a basement. So interesting. When we have fun, our immune system is boosting automatically. Automatically, when we have fun, our immune system is boosting. And this, in combination with all the vitamins and minerals what we need, I was cancer-free after 12 weeks. And
Wow.
then I starting to study everything and help people with cancer to do the same.
Wow.
So
So, okay. So I would love for you also to share the title of the book, because for the people that are listening to this and are not watching this, so that they know what you're talking about.
that is the English version
Success
from
through positive mental attitude.
yes,
Napoleon Hill.
correct. So this was my
Mm.
game changer.
Yeah.
And I don't know what it changed, but interesting still, this book have a big impact on my life today.
Yeah.
And
So,
yeah,
so if I hear you correctly, just to making sure that I understand that. So, you were diagnosed with cancer in the
yeah,
final stage,
right.
and the doctor told you, there's not much more that we can do. You're going to stay here. They're going. I'm assuming they would give you chemotherapy. You didn't take chemotherapy.
I did. And it feels
You
wrong.
did.
With a lot of weird things happening. When it's starting with chemotherapy, I have to go in a room where all the people are sitting with the chemotherapy here.
Yeah.
With and when I saw the room, I saw all the people are dead. You have goosebumps. They hanging like in the middle age. They're all dead. He said, I'm not going here in this room. And then the doctor
Yeah.
said, why not? He said, no, then I'm dying. And then what are you talking about? He said, no, I'm not going in this room. So I was a very difficult patient. And I say, no, I can do it here in a hallway. What, here in a hallway? It's cold and what? Why? He said, no, this is fine. So I become a very strange patient. I make it in a hallway, but always after the chemotherapy, something feel complete wrong. Something is so wrong, and I said, yeah, this is I'm dying, but the chemotherapy accelerates this. This was my feeling. There's something not correct. And then my idea was, when I'm dying, then I'm dying with fun, and not with all this. They want to make a radiation too and all this stuff. And
Yeah.
I say, no, this is wrong. Something is here not correct. So I quit the hospital, and now I'm still here.
Hmm. So after that, you decided for yourself, this is not for me, and then you decided to go out into the world and essentially, from what I'm hearing, live your life, have fun, use the techniques and tools you learned about in this book that if I understand correctly, are about positive affirmation, changing your mindset, and then through that, change your frequency essentially, and that
Yes,
led you onto the path of healing.
yes. So number one is PMA, positive mental attitude. You need a positive mental attitude to open your mind to find better solutions. So,
Right.
but this was only the beginning. I starting something switched in me, and I become so uh, obsessed with learning. I read more than 6,000 books today, not only about cancer, about everything, quantum physics, everything, learning, 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 and to have more
Mm,
answers and solutions. So, but practical knowledge, not theory. I don't like theory, practical knowledge.
right.
And
Right.
so and then I was on so many seminars. I meet a lot of gurus on the whole world to learn everything about healing and all this kind of stuff. And so, and
Yeah.
today I create my own programs very fast because I want it's going fast. Speed and quality. That is my attitude, German attitude. Speed and quality. It has to be fast, but with high quality. And so my programs today help people in only 12 weeks. It doesn't matter what it is in their business, personal life, relationships, very, very fast to change their life on a better way, even with
Yeah.
healing.
Yeah. So that's a fascinating journey. And then you mentioned that this brought you onto the path of characterology,
Yeah,
where you discovered how your personality type requires more joy in life to be healthy and to thrive. And I would love for you to speak into that. So, what are sort of the distinctions in characterology, and how how should an entrepreneur who wants more peace of mind, who wants more wealth, who wants to live a more holistic lifestyle, what should they do with that?
yeah, okay. So this knowledge from Hippocrates, a lot of companies, they use this knowledge. They copied this original knowledge, they change a little bit, but we have four main characters, four main personalities, and it's about the choleric personality. That is the god Apollo. It has nothing to do with religious systems or whatever. It is based on our subconsciousness. The Greek mythology is perfect for healing. There's so much knowledge in. This has nothing to do with religious systems, you know. So this here is the entrepreneur. You know, that is a hard worker. You can see he's not really the fun guy. He move forward. So this is my main part. But also, I have other god in me. That is a Titan, Epimetheus. He is an optimist. He is a fun-loving person, and I have in me 50% of him. But when I was a financial advisor, I ignore this and I put them away. So he was behind me, and this was too much on this energy in the long term. What makes me sick? And in this moment, when I was in a hospital, and I didn't know this, but I feel I need more this, a little bit like more this. So the red part is there, but the green part is more important. The healing starts. Then also we have two other ones. We have the phlegmatic person. This is a sanguine personality. This is the phlegmatic person. This is the god Dionysus, the god of wine. And then we have the melancholic person, the thinker. This is Prometheus. So, and all these energies are in us. So we are not only one person, we have a mix of all of them, but we have to learn how we use them correctly. And everything is changing. Everything changed for our health system, for our relationships, for parenting, for business. Everything is changing. And this knowledge was a must in the 18th and 19th century in Germany for all teachers. So they know how to teach the children correctly. But and after World War I and World War II, this knowledge disappeared.
So if I understand it correctly, just to make sure that I'm on the right path with you in this. So these are four archetypal human types of characters, and you're saying we have all four of them inside of us, and the fine art is really in learning how to balance them and learning where to put more of our focus and attention so that we can use them to thrive in life.
Yes, correct. I will show you a picture, 1 second, from my book. Here, this pie is me as an entrepreneur. I'm a red person, but you can see there's 50% green. What is a little bit a paradox. But what it means is, so I'm a red person, but green is very important for me. All the fun party part, as example, you know, and all this is very important. And when we ignore these parts in our life, we're going out of balance and we go sick. Hippocrates, he figured out when red personalities ignore this, in the long term, they get heart attack or cancer. Very interesting. Very interesting. So red people, red personalities, they have most of the time heart attacks or cancer. You know, blue personalities, the thinker, have a lot of times a stroke. They are too much in the thinking process. That is the reason they have a stroke. You know, it is not the physical part. It is our personality. It is a specific kind of energy, how we operate. You know, and he becomes the father of modern medicine, Hippocrates.
I want to ask you something about me, because obviously you and I, we've had quite a few conversations over the past 2 years, and I'm not an expert in this in any way. And I would love, how do you see me according to those characterologies types? And what would you say is something that's important for me to look at?
Okay, that is a little bit too much guessing. I also can read people in 2 minutes sometimes, and I teach this, how you can like a profiler, how you identify people. But guessing is a little bit tricky. I don't like it. But with you, your main parts are, it's kind of green. You like enjoy life. Also, you
Mm-hmm.
are a big thinker. You
Mm-hmm.
contemplate a lot about things. And then under the bottom line comes the entrepreneurship to move forward. But the
Mm-hmm.
entrepreneurship is here not the main part. For you is more the energy of this both of have enjoy life but thinking about life too. And the entrepreneurship part is moving your business forward. So that is what I see about you.
Interesting. Okay. And so, based on this disease pattern, what would you say is important for a person like me to pay attention?
This is too superficial. I don't do this. For this, we need a
Okay.
personality profile to
Mm.
analyze who you are. And this profile from Hippocrates, it is the first personality assessment about our personality world, what exists on this planet. It is 2,500 years old. We have the original scrolls from Hippocrates. We use the original knowledge, and it's based on our subconsciousness. And we have three parts. We have our main profile, who we are. The second is a public profile, how people see us. Schon there is a miscommunication a lot of times. So I don't understand why people don't understand me, because they see me differently. And then we have a mask, what we wear to protect our ego. And when our mask is complete the opposite from who we really are, we become sick in the long term, because the mask swallow 80% of our life force out. And as example, when people do a job, they have to be always nice, but they hate the job. They wear
Mm.
a mask to be always nice, but inside is bubbling, a little volcano. And in the long term, you get sick from this,
Yeah.
because it is not alignment with who you are. And that is
Yeah.
when we wear a mask, what we are not. That is then a big problem.
Yeah. First of all, I appreciate that you didn't just give me a surface answer to what do you see in terms of the disease, and that you told me to this requires a further exploration. I think that shows your level of being a professional. And second, I can relate to what you just shared, because when I was living my life with a mask and I was going through the Lufthansa pilot training in Germany, became severely depressed. I developed a slip disc. I was in chronic back pain morning, night, all day long, and it wasn't getting better, even though I tried all the things. And it was to what you were saying. On the front, I was putting up the mask. I was pretending that I've got this, all is good, don't worry about me. But on the inside, I was dying. And so all of that emotional pain was manifesting as physical pain in my body. So this is a very real issue that you're talking about.
Yes. So for you, as example, the fun part comes too short. So for you, but you need freedom. Epimesios,
Yeah.
he wants freedom, extreme freedom, freedom, freedom from everything. No rules, fun, party, sex, drugs, and rock and roll, as example. So this is this, but in the combination with you, on the other hand, you are very, very intelligent. They are brothers, Prometheus and Epimetheus. He is the optimist, he's the pessimist. In Chinese, it's this yin and yang, as example.
Ah,
Plus and minus, hot and cold. So, and but this
mm,
is both in you. So you need more party, and then you need the reflection and think about
yes.
something. And when this works correctly, like this, you become happy, and you become healthy, and you become successful. And successful is not
Yeah.
automatically the big money, it is freedom and happiness from this what we're doing. That is the
Yeah.
key.
Yeah, and that makes a lot of sense. If I look back, I had a phase after my Lufthansa experience where I then studied in Berlin, and I ended up, and I went from having no fun in my life to having an excessive amount of fun in my life, and I let go of all of the structures. but it became excessive and it became the next sort of downfall that I've experienced. And that's when I learned that for me, exactly what you're showing here is so important, that I want fun in my life, and freedom and expression, and being loose, and going wild. And I also want the deep contemplation and the thinking about who I am and what the world looks like. And so now I've brought it into a very balanced way. And that was because I've experienced all the extremes. So
Yeah.
this, what you're saying, makes a lot of sense. And I would love for you just mentioned it, right? You talked about the ego, and I know that's one of your big topics. And many people have different ideas on what the ego is. And I would love to hear from you, what do you think the ego is? How do you define that?
Okay, so I starting when I was a financial advisor, very young and make no money. What is the problems? Why some people make money, some people are successful, other people they don't. From where comes all the struggling in relationships? And I figured out this is all going down to our ego. Our ego is, you can say, the altered ego, the programmed ego. As a child, when we are born, we are ego free. The ego is a program from outside. A child, a boy, as an example, John, when he want to go on toilet, he say, John must pee pee. And then the parents say, you have to say, I must pee pee, not John. So a child is talking in a third person because there is not related to identification with the ego. So, and then after a while, from our parenting, we learn, oh, I am this person. In the school, we learn I am this person, but that is all a lie. That is not me. So we become a product from our surrounding. We become a product of our surrounding. We believe in specific religious systems. We believe in what the country, my country is. So when I say I'm German, that's not correct. Socrates, he say, I'm a citizen of this planet. That makes a little bit more sense. Otherwise, it is all programmed from the ego. So we become a person, but that is not us. So, and our ego, when it's going feeding and feeding more, and it's going in the narcissistic tendency, like, look at me, look at me. Extreme social media today is really bad. Extreme for the young generation in between from 15 to 25. Very, very bad. They have no idea what's happening. They get so programmed with toxic positivity. They believe, oh, they're all successful, not me. So, and it's all a lie. The people, they're lying about themselves. Look at me, I'm so good. Look at me. So, and this is feeds so extreme the ego. And the ego is the reason number one we get sick. The ego love pain. We have a pain body. And the pain body, emotional pain, is give an instruction to the ego, go and create situations what is painful for you. Bad relationships, bad business, meet bad people, whatever it is, so I can feed my own pain body permanently. Yeah. So we are remote controlled by our ego. But important is not the ego is the evil. The ego is an assistant. The ego is normally created to help us to reach our goals. So with a positive mental attitude, my ego can help me to reach my goals. With a negative mental attitude, it's the opposite. It destroy my whole life. So, and when I work in this field almost 30 years as an ego expert, my ego was so big, I cannot go in my office because the door is too small. So I was a really ego-driven person, and this brings me to cancer. And when I become more ego-free, immediately the healing starts. So, and that is when people ask me, oh, you can help so many people, and I say yes and no. I can help people only when they want to change their life. Because the life brings them to the part of disease, whatever it is, and they have to change everything. They have to die, and that is meaning when we're dying, all this construct from the ego have to be gone. And then the healing starts. So, and our whole society is so ego driven, And that is the reason for all our problems on this planet right now.
I love this. And so, making sure that I understand correctly what you're saying is the ego is essentially a conditioned idea of who we are. It's like,
Correct.
I am German, I am American, I am Republican, I am Christian, I am this, I am that.
Right.
Now, and so when we stay in that reality and we are attached to these ideas, we stay in a box, right? We live in a box, and there's no possibility, there's no chance to change behavior, there's no chance to heal, because we're so attached to this idea of who we are. Now, as you remove more and more of the ego, then what's left? What is it that you become?
Freedom and happiness. It's not more your personality part. So, as example for me, when I was a financial advisor, I make so much money, but I was always in a kind of hamster wheel. Today, I'm living here in the States, and I'm so much more free. And this is what I'm doing. I'm living 5 minutes from a lake. I can go there. And there's no more this box living. I do whatever I want. I do a seminar here right now in Idaho. I do a seminar in August. People from worldwide, from Europe, from Canada, US, they coming to learn in 4 days to change their life, as example. And it's fun. I'm not more working. This is fun. I'm not more working. So it's like paid vacation. I do only what I love to do. And this creates freedom and happiness, and everything is changing in your life. This hard working, what we learn, you have to sacrifice, you have to work hard. That is all bullshit. It's a program of slavery, and it's not why we are here. We are here to make known the unknown, become an artist of your own life. And the happiness part, I met a lot of people from New York City. Super, they make money, really, so much money, but they are not happy because it's only the red energy, only red, and then they need some fun. Yeah, and then they're starting with alcohol, drugs, party, and all this kind of stuff, excessive, to compensate the red energy. But this doesn't work, No, you have to find your own way, but be free from all this, what you say, living in a box. And what is this? Freedom and happiness. And we are multidimensional, immortal beings, and have the experience right now in a human body. That's it. So I was so blessed for my near-death experience. I forgot so much stuff, but when I was later in the hospital and dying, all this popped up again, and I changed my life.
As beautifully said. And one thing that I've always asked myself, and I'm curious to hear your perspective of that, is, so I used to live my life in this idea that I'm Mario, and in order for me to live a happy and successful life, I need to become a pilot. I need to sort of move through the ladder in Germany, get married, make a lot of money, and then I would live, my life's purpose. Now I've moved beyond all of that, and now I'm here. Now, isn't that also another version of the ego, just a more expanded version of it? Or how do you look at that?
Yeah, okay, it's a good point. We have to see, we have our ego setting goals or our higher self setting goals. So to identify on my seminars, I give free advice to know that is a goal from your higher self and not from the ego. The ego, we have to understand, create goals to create more and more drama and problems. Always when we have a solution, this solution from the ego create more problems. So it can be always working with us, for us, permanently. But it create more and more drama. So you need a bigger house, you need a bigger car. But then you have to work more. And we are always a slave from the ego. And we can decide about free will. I can decide I am the host for my God, or the hostage for my ego. I can be the host for my God or the hostage of my ego. So we can choose. And to identify a goal, is this coming from my higher self? Is number one, this goal brings me freedom. Number two, peace. Number three, harmony. All these
Hmm.
three parts comes not from the ego. The ego don't want you are free. The ego don't want you are harmony and happy. And they don't want you have peace, because then you don't need the ego. So
Hmm.
when we following these three parts as a goal, the chance is very, very high it comes from our higher self.
Hmm. That's very practical and very useful. And as you were speaking, I was reflecting. I was like, actually, yeah, all of the things that you said, they're true for why I do what I do every day. And I see it in a similar way that I don't believe in hard work. I believe in intelligent work, and I believe in joyful work. And yes, some periods of those days means that I work long hours.
Yeah,
Sometimes I work until 8, sometimes I work until 10, but there isn't a part of me, like, or at least not a strong part, that goes, oh, I have to do this, I'd rather be outside now. Oh. It's like sometimes it's just a little bit like, that's challenging to do this. It's like it's taking something out of me. And I have my tools in how to approach that with breath work, but this strong voice, that's not there anymore. And I wonder, what are some of the things that people can do to transcend their ego? Because I used to say overcome, and I feel overcome is another ego trap, is another
yes,
thing that the ego says, I need to overcome this, I need to overcome this. And the reason it says that is because it thinks it's the enemy. And
yes.
so for me, it's like, there are no enemies in my life, and in the way that I look at that. Even my own sort of thoughts that I used to call negative thoughts, no, they're expression of a program, and I look at them as means to help me elevate further. So I say I transcend that. Now, what are some tools that you use or that you can recommend to our listeners to do that?
Okay, number one, come to my seminars. That is the best way. Come to my seminars and reach out to me. What I show, in 3 months, in 12 weeks, people change their life. Sometimes I have special day seminars, and one day people change their life. There is not one fits all program, that doesn't exist, and I don't offer this zero, because I work
Sure.
very intuitive with people. Every person is differently. But when they have an open mind, they can change very, very fast. And so about the ego, you're right, not to fight against the ego. So give books, the ego is your enemy and all this. That is completely
Yes.
a statement from the ego. What a bullshit. Sorry.
Yes. Yes.
Because, so when I was in a hospital and people say you have to fight against the cancer. And I said, this makes no sense, because the cancer is a part of me. Then I started to fighting against myself. This make no sense. So I starting to love my cancer. They have the right to be there right now. They want to talk to me. My body is talking to me. Something is wrong. I'm not on the right way. And so I starting to love my cancer. And we have to learn to love our ego too. And then more and more the negativity is disappearing out of our system. But the ego want not, you have to fight. You have to fight against the ego. And the ego is happy, because that is complete the game of the ego, and we cannot win. No chance. The same as fight for your against the cancer. And he said, no, love your cancer. We are too hard in our life. We have to enjoy us. We have to accept who we are. That is the reason for the cancer. Maybe a lot of people, they don't like to hear this, but cancer is not a disease. It is a message we are on the wrong way. And
Oh.
the cancer cell is divided faster. They want to overwrite the information in our old cell, because in our whole system is the cell what I'm thinking. In all our cells is the same what I'm thinking. And the cancer cell want to overwrite this because I'm on the wrong way. That is the last stand. but people don't listening to their body and to their soul. As example, I buy a new Mercedes and I'm driving, and then suddenly red light popped up. Something with the oil is not okay. And I see this and I find it so annoying. So I go to a mechanic. I say, hey, here is a red light and I don't like to see this. Can you do something cheap? Oh, my master is not here. I'm a rookie, but I can help you. Yeah, do fast, instant, and cheap. Oh, I can put a band-aid on it, then you don't see it. Great, good. $5. I give him $5. I don't see it more. I'm happy. Yes. I drive on the Autobahn, and then 2 days later, suddenly the radiator, the water is going hot and hot and hot because there's not enough oil in it. What annoying. I go back to the mechanic and the rookie is there. I say, hey, I have the same problem here. I drive a new car and now the needle is going up in red. Oh, I can fix it. Very cheap. A little bit glue. I put it there and it's not more moving. Oh, I'm happy. Thanks. $5. And I'm driving a few days on the Autobahn with 200 kilometers and suddenly boom. And the whole engine explodes. And I say, Mercedes sucks. Nobody is doing this with their car, but everybody is doing this with their body. The body wants to talk to us, but we ignore this, put medication in. We don't want to see what is the real problem. So when I have skin cancer, the problem is not solved. They cut the skin away because the illness is in me, in my thinking. It is a vibration. Sooner or later, it comes out on a different way. So we have to change this. Yeah.
You just hit the nail right there on the spot. And we can take this analogy into every aspect of life. It's just very easy to see in modern medicine, not to demonize Western medicine, because quite frankly, if I break my arm, I would much rather go into the hospital and have them, help me with the arm than go to a Reiki healer. I think that important is the balance between the two, but it's so true. It's like, people, and I was once at an airport, and I don't want to get into the whole COVID thing and what we think about that, right? But just a little story there. One of the guys, it was in Sicily. It was a doctor. He told me that in a very loud way. I sat next to him. He was wearing 2 masks, and nobody else was wearing masks. And there were still these old signs. COVID was over. Restrictions were gone. I sat down next to him, and he yells at me. And he's like, it's because of people like you that we are in this mess, that don't respect the rules. And I said to him, well, actually, it's because people are not taking responsibility for their health. That's why we are here. And that's what you're saying, right? If people not taking responsibility for their lives, if the red light goes on, right, they feel pain in their shoulder or in their stomach, they go, whatever, whoop, pop a pill, don't need to think about it, suppress the pain, right? If they have a problem in their business with an employee, whatever, just silence, I'll do that later, right? And then you're constantly putting out fires, whether it's inside of your body, whether it's in your relationships, whether it's in your business, you're always reacting. You're never taking responsibility. And to me, what really changed my life was to understand what responsibility means. You just have to turn the word around. It's the ability to respond. And bringing that to your point, what you said about not fighting cancer or whatever else you're facing in your life is, whatever you fight, you become, because you become reactive. You don't have the ability to respond anymore. Your whole system becomes toxic, moves into a place where you no longer are able to make a conscious decision, which means you're just repeating the same old shit again and again and again.
Right. No, it's correct. And because the ego loves pain for the pain body. So we talking always about, my poor me, look at me, go in a waiting room for a doctor. Oh, I have a broken arm. Oh, I have 2 broken arms. I have a broken leg. Oh, I'm already dead. Everybody try to the ego want to be special. Always the ego want to be special. And in a negative way, they have more disease than others. I have a very rare DNA disease. Nobody can heal me. As example, it is so we want to be so special. In New York City, nobody have friends, but everybody have a psychologist. And I have to go. I have an appointment. I have to go to my psychologist. And the other guy say, "What? You have only one? Pfft, I have three. I have so many problems. Not one can deal with this." So this is a real disease on our planet right now. Always we want to be special on social media, in life, and when we have not the success what we want to be super special, when you make $1 million, that means nothing here in the United States. They say, "What? You are a poor guy." So 100 million, then you can talk with me. So a little bit like this. And then on the other hand, "Oh, I have this disease, I have this disease. It's only I have to be special. Look at me." And this is a program, and it's not us. It's better is so. And I'm not big on social media. 99% for my clients, they come from mouth to mouth to me. They heard about me, they reach out to me, and they come to my seminars as example, because I don't want to spread out so much like others on a marketplace. "Oh, but come to me, here's more and more." I don't do this. I like deep conversations. I like change fast, but it needs time, of course. And and I want the people become free and happy. This is more what I like to see when I work with people. They become free and happy. And the freedom is free from the ego, free from the programs, you know. And of course, it's a journey. Even what you meant, I feel like I'm a little bit in an ego system, of course. So long we as a human, we are not ascended, we are not out of the body, we have an ego here. When I have my near-death experience, it was fun. There's no ego. Very weird. I know who I am, and there is no ego. You remember, for me, myself, oh God, again, it happens 1 million times when I was out of my body. And, but there's no ego. It's very interesting. We have more clarity, total better understanding, you know, and so, this was fun. And so I try, and there is no try, but that is what I'm doing to give people freedom and happiness in the business, in the relationships, and with themselves, you know.
I think what you're describing also refers to, because you know the kind of people that listen to my podcast are entrepreneurs, business leaders, go-getters, high performers. And so like you, the people you work with, these are people that always look for ways to reach a higher level, to change their behavior so they can change some sort of an outcome to create more favorable results for their lives. And when you say freedom from the ego, what I've come to learn is the more freedom from the ego you have, the more you get to live life by choice, by conscious choice. So if, for instance, you are looking to grow your business from 1 million to 5 million, because, you know, without now going into the reason as to why you want to do it, right? But there's usually a change in behavior required. And oftentimes that change in behavior is stopped by fear. Fear is an expression of the ego. So the more you remove that ego, the more you can say, yeah, I'm going to double my price and reach out to X amount of high net worth individuals to invite them to come to my seminar, right? The more confident you are, the more liberated you are, the more passionate you are in the way you show up. And that just makes you a magnet, and that makes you attractive to a lot of people who then say, oh, I like this George guy. He's so funny and open and free. How did you do that? And that means, in the terms of business success, more money coming into your bank account.
Right. And people misunderstand. I never say money is bad. It's completely the opposite. We need financial freedom, what puts us the pressure of fear away to pay the bills and all this kind of stuff. Right. But it is the wrong way when money becomes only the reason for it exists here, only working. I met people, they make millions of dollars and they are so happy, and it looks like they don't work. And they make tons of money. They make it for fun, so they are in the element, perfect. But most of the time, people are not in the element and they're fighting for money. Competition, schon komplett bullshit thinking, competition. Because my clients are frequency specific to me. Other clients are frequency specific to you. There is no competition. Schon even this idea from competition is from the ego. This is so. It is all a program, what is based on a lie, and the ego never accepts the truth. It's a very strong quote, because our life is built on lies permanently. It's like a skyscraper with cards. We playing cards. We have a lie, and then we have to covering this lie. But for covering this lie, we have to covering this lie. So we build skyscrapers with cards, and then comes one person, they speak the truth. They take only one card out, and the whole system is collapsing. That is then the big. This is the people they get hated, like Jesus, Buddha, Confucius. All this kind of people are big threat for the matrix because they speak the truth. But when people have more the taste of the truth, it's better than every drug. Because, wow, you see so much more opportunities and have a happy life.
Yeah. The truth will set you free, but first it will piss off your ego.
Right, always. That is,
George,
yeah.
I wanted to ask you because, I want to be respectful of your time. You do have something for our guests, which is your amazing ebook and a 45-minute call, which is super gracious from you. And I would love for you to speak a little bit into that so people can get the hang of that.
Yes. So reach out to me via email on hipposuccess@gmail.com. hipposuccess@gmail.com, and you get my free ebook about the Characterology system. It's a short overview how the system works, and it needs only 15 minutes. Also, when you are interested to change your life, I offering 45 minutes. I do this here for you, for your podcast listeners, for 45 minutes for free to explain a little bit how I can change your life. And then you can decide if you are interested or not, And I cannot do this for everybody because I have not the time, but I do this for your podcast listeners here, watchers, listeners.
I appreciate that very much, and I highly recommend it. George has some great seminars happening. George, maybe you also mentioned to me that for my listeners, you have a special prize for that seminar, which I highly recommend to check out.
Yeah, my Characterology system, it is basic seminar number 1 and 2 online. It costs normally $300, but for you, 50% off, only $150. And that is very, very, it's a very great price.
I think so too. I think that's on the very low end in terms of pricing for the value that you're offering there. And, I never really used to connect the dots to sort of spirituality and business success until I've experientially went through it in so many different ways and forms. To that today, I can say, rather than going to a business class and studying business and buying all the books in business, and that's also good, go and do this work. The return on investment that you get when you invest into somebody like George is not even, it's unmeasurable because it's so high, because it touches every single facet of your life.
Yeah, my best result as a tip, a client give me tip when we meet for lunch for the good result what he has. This was in Germany. He gave me $5,000 tip. I was speechless. He say, I'm so happy with this. He gave me an envelope, 5,000 euro. He said, do you know what? That is for you as a tip for this advice, what you gave me here. And I was speechless. And it's fun.
I think that's a tip that I'd love to receive as well. So, my dear clients, if you're listening to that, my pockets are open.
And also, if somebody interested, reach out to me. And here's my book about the Characterology system, the original knowledge, what is 2,500 years old. And you can buy it not on Amazon. You can buy it directly from me if you're interested. But the best way is reach out to me and see what's going on. And the magic will happen.
Wonderful. I will be sure to add all the links into the show notes. George, thank you very much for being a great human being and being a great guest on the show. I thoroughly enjoyed this conversation. I know it won't be the last.
Yeah, thank you so much. I appreciate it. This was a lot of fun, and yeah, hope see you soon.
Wonderful. And thank you, my friend, for listening to the Zenpreneur podcast. And I will see you on the next episode.
Bye bye.